Hello and welcome to Arsenal Above All. Arsenal cruising through to the fifth round of the FA Cup, the furthest we've been in the competition since we last won it under Mikel Arteta in 2020. And we have got Mansfield Town in the fifth round. So head loss already from them. I've seen a couple of tweets from some of their fans. They're worried about Set Piece FC coming to town in a couple of weeks, but we'll talk about that and a little bit more in a minute. But I've got two fine gents with me joining me tonight. I've got Brenny, K74. How you doing, Brenny?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just came off THFC Till We Die with Nick and Tequila, who was sporting Natalie Dormer from Game of Thrones as inspiration, basically because it's the only Tudor he trusted or something, or the only Tudor he liked. So I thought that was quite funny, but yeah. So no, that was a bit of fun there, and always like having fun with the Spurs guys. And yeah, no, it's just great to be back on the channel here, and great to be back yourself and the legend that is Akpos here, and big up to Akpos, and I hope you get the result, if you know what I'm saying. It's all about this World Cup, man. This World Cup, I'm sorry, Congo. Yeah, so when it comes to ineligibility, man, you know what I mean? It's come on, Nigeria.
Thank you for all the support, Brenny. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Brenny. And yes, I've got the man, the legend, Akpos, joining me for his debut on Arsenal Above All. Akpos, it's a pleasure to have you. How you doing, my friend?
I'm honored to be on the channel to finally make my debut. Thank you very much, Michael. Big up to the man, the myth, the legend, Brenny. Big up to everybody in the chat, everybody, repping Nigeria. I can see, somebody already in the chat with the Nigerian flag. Big up, Steven. Big up, everybody. And if you've not subscribed already, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and leave this stream a like, because I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation between, people, Arsenal fans who love the game, who are lovers of the game. And I'm excited to, bring my one cent to the conversation today. Thanks for having me, Michael.
No problem, man. It's a pleasure, and I'm sure it'll be more than 1%, man. It's definitely that will be the case. So let's get into it. Arsenal, a very comfortable, as comfortable a win as you could imagine. Beating Wigan, former holders, obviously 2013, I think it was. They won it against Man City, didn't they? Shock win. 4-0 win. All over in 27 minutes, which I think is a bit of a record for Premier League teams, scoring that many goals in the competition. Obviously, off the back of a disappointing result against Brentford a couple of days earlier, obviously in the week. Obviously, Brenny, I know that you you kind of, it's been a few days, and you've had a time to reflect on that result, and obviously, Akpos, we want you to jump in as well, obviously, with your thoughts on it. But obviously, everything's cooled down now. We've got Wolves to face in a couple of days. What's your thoughts on the back of that game? I mean, there was a lot of head loss, as everyone's had their thought. City obviously what they did at the weekend, and then we didn't capitalise on that with getting another getting 6 points ahead again, and only increasing it to only. Well, they cut the lead down. I actually had to call someone up on that. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, Arsenal have extended their lead to 4 points." No, they haven't. In the actual match day, 26, we went into it with 6 points ahead, and we ended it with 4 points ahead. So we've lost that lead. We haven't extended it. But what's your thoughts just on the whole fallout of that Brentford game? And was there anything that kind of worried you, or was there any thing that you saw earlier in the season which maybe came to fruition in terms of performance that night?
Yeah, you see, for me, right, people got what I didn't like was I seen some videos. I mean, I don't watch AFTV, but I saw a couple of videos, and I saw it was all about being positive, and and if you and for those that, if you don't believe that Arsenal win the league, and if they do win the league, then you're not welcome at the parade. I don't like hearing that talk. I hate it. I'm, my feelings about the manager, and for me, it's a case for me. It's a case of, can you hear me, everybody?
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, for me, it was it's a case of, something. Doesn't matter whether you're Arteta in, Arteta out. You're on the fence. At the end of the day, right? If we win this league, I'm not going to mock anyone who's in. I'm not going to mock anyone. I don't mock anyone if we don't win the league. I'm not going to mock anybody. At the end of the day, we're all fans in our own different way. You know what I mean? So the game itself was that first half. I don't know what happened in that first half. I really don't. I really don't know what happened in that first half, and we didn't create anything. And Brentford always looked hungrier. Obviously, we got the goal. When we got the goal, it kind of surprised me because I didn't know how we was going to score, to be honest with you. And Brentford got a deserved equaliser. It was just Gabriel was lucky not to have got a red. I just feel that the second half we came out and played a bit. But what frustrates me with this Arsenal side, especially in league games, is why some games we're only doing halves.
Yeah.
You look at the Aston Villa home game, we didn't create anything really in that first half at all, and then second half we were just awesome. So I am concerned, guys. I am concerned because we've been here before. And what worries me, it's not the fact that we have got a good squad of players, no doubt about it. What worries me is for some of them, it's not all of them, but for some of them, the mentality is not as strong as, say, a Declan Rice or a Gabriel, for example. And that's what worries me. It's the mental side of it. If the mentality is strong within the squad, then we can get through these and win a couple of trophies this season. But what also gets me, and it probably got to the manager as well, was City's response, because what they did with Liverpool, what they did to Liverpool, what they did to Fulham. At the end of the day, that's where your mentality has got to be strong. It has to be on point, because if it's not, you're not going to win anything. And sometimes it's like you've got to have, like I said the other week, when I was on the takeover, I was talking about tunnel vision, and that's what you got to do. The live for Chrissy tunnel vision. You just got to look ahead and don't focus on who's below.
100%.
We should be winning these games. And I'll just end on saying basically, and another draw. It's even more disappointing because of draws that we've had in recent weeks, and this is my only fear is, if we don't win this league, it won't be because of defeats, it'll be because of draws.
Yeah,
I cannot see it. To be honest with you, I cannot see us losing a game this season. But in the league, I honestly cannot see us losing the game. Not even at the Etihad. But if we don't win this league, it'll be because of these draws. And Arteta, for me, we have to be, especially in away games, we've got to, go all out and get these 3 points. And we can't just we cannot just pick and choose and it'd be a case of, we'll win at the Emirates, and then we'll draw in our next away fixture, win at the Emirates, draw in our next away fixture, draw in another away fixture. No, I will just end on saying, if we don't win this league, it'll be because of draws.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, because we've had so many games where we've gone ahead and we've kind of been we kind of fall into a controlling sort of phase where we don't push on. Even with the Leeds game, where obviously we won that game 4-0, but we went 1-0 up. Obviously we scored the 2 goals quite quickly, and then there was a spell where we kind of, it seemed like we're going to try and control it. And then we weathered a little bit of pressure, and then we went on again. And the same thing happened with Sunderland. Again, we went 1-0 up, and then there was like that spell where we were just trying to control it. We saw it against Brentford as well. We went 1-0 up, finally got the breakthrough, and then all of a sudden it just switched, and we just couldn't get out. I mean, what's your thoughts in Akpos? Is it? I think a lot of people have kind of said this, where Arteta is trying to control, or we are trying to control games too much, where we should be going forward and trying to put our foot down and try and get games out of sight. That's why the game was so refreshing on yesterday, where we put a game to bed so quickly, then we can make those changes quite early and not stress out. But what's your thoughts on just how that second half, especially, the first half was very poor, but the second half especially, how a lot of people have said we seem like, if you look at it, if you switch the shirts, you probably wouldn't be surprised that Arsenal were playing the way they were playing in the second half, because we were getting set pieces coming in, we were bullying the keeper. What do you think that was? You just think these guys have got it almost PTSD so much with what's happened in the last couple of seasons, that we just really want to make sure nobody makes those mistakes as we try and get it over the line?
Well, I would love to start with something that Brenny ended with when he mentioned trolls. And aftermath of Arsenal versus Brentford, if you heard the vice he mentioned something that stuck with me, that I've been thinking of even before the game. He said, if you can't win football matches, don't lose them.
Don't lose.
And Brenny rightly mentioned something with respect to draw. So I think that mentality has crept into Mikel Arteta's head with the close call with the last couple of seasons, because I think we all can relate to that team song of you seeing an Arsenal team that is so, cautious of not losing the game and not going all out when they should all out from the get-go. I think that has crept into our head, and we are playing with that at the back of our mind. Oh, we don't want to lose this game. Oh, we don't want to lose this game. Instead of having the mentality of, we want to win this game. We want to win this game. Let's go out and win this game. And that really showed in the way we performed against Brentford, because in the first 26 minutes, I was wondering which side was Brentford and which side was Arsenal, because I was asking myself, why are we sitting so deep? Why are we playing so deep against a Brentford team that we should come all out and get early goal, destabilize their tactical plan, destabilize, their set approach into the game on the day? So I was scared. I was surprised that we were playing, in a very pragmatic and a very rigid shape in the first 20-something minutes thereabout. And it was no surprise that we could not get any shot on target in that first half. That is a testament to, our approach to the game in the first half. I thought we sat too deep. Our pressing was not as coordinated as I would have expected it to be. At some point, I was wondering why we are not coming out, to make sure we prevent them from not playing out of their half of the field. So these are the issues that, I've seen overboard in some games this season. And I think it brings us to the biggest front in the room of the manager, because I think it's not just the players. These guys are playing to instruction. They are playing to, whatever instruction that Mikel Arteta and his coaching crew have given them, during the week, before the game, during the prep-up, the tactical plan for the game. So I think it is something I would love Mikel Arteta to just try to readjust. I want to see an Arsenal team going out there, because I've been telling other Arsenal fans, that we have our destiny in our hands. I don't really care too much what other teams are going to do against City, because we are in a very good position where if we get, the most points out of all the games we are going to be playing, we would finish as the league winners come May, by the end of May.
Yeah.
I want to see Arsenal, each time we get on the pitch, and this is also one of the things that I was, concerned about when we faced Liverpool, because I thought we paid Liverpool too much respect in that game. And we are seeing it creeping into games like Brentford, for example. Why are we giving Brentford that much room to get very confident and, give them, I thought we gave them so much confidence to attack us in that game, because we did not really come out to attack. And when we tried to do it, I thought it was, way too late. And the Brentford side, it looked so much more dangerous than we looked in the game. And I would say we are lucky, we were very lucky to come out from that game with 1 point, because that was a very disappointing performance. I have watched, Arsenal, go to some difficult grounds, and we play attacking-minded football, play football with intent to win. And if we had lost or we had drew the game that day, I've said, okay, this performance was good. But for me, the performance was bad, the result was bad. And hearing Declan Rice say, if you can't win a football game, don't lose it. I think, it rings a bell. I think this is something that, they've been hearing a lot in the training ground. I'm not there, but this is just, my opinion from what I've been saying, the trend I've been seeing over the last the last couple of 2 days. It's
Yeah.
not something that started today. We've been saying it in season past, where we expect our team to come all out, attack team, and put the teams to the sword. But we often find ourselves sometimes, even when we go one go up, we take our foot off the gas and try to control situations and all of that. But I look at this Arsenal team now. I look at the attacking talents that we have, and in my head, I'm like, what's this guy's problems? Why are we not attacking? So I want to see. Firstly, I would say credit to Mikel Arteta, the fact that he has made us so difficult to beat. But I don't think we have the right balance between, a side that is difficult to beat and a side that will go out there and outscore teams. I think too many, a lot of Arsenal fans will agree with me. We are not very confident that we can go out there and outscore teams. Yeah. That's not one of our strong points. I think that's something we need to add to our skill set. Defensively, we are very solid. That's also fact coupled with the fact with the control Mikel wants and how he wants, players to get back in position as soon as possible and all of that. Credit to him. But I don't think we have the right balance between defense and offense yet. And especially with the crop of players that we have now, we have a lot of tools in our arsenal to make teams pay. We have dynamic players. We have players who are very direct. Players I want to see Mikel, use and try to get the best out of them. We saw a very Chiesa yesterday and how he was fluid. He was making things happen. This is the version of Chiesa we want to see playing in the league. And yes, I know he has not been performing very well, but yes, I would also still, talk about Mikel with respect to how some of these attacking players that we signed have not been performing. I would not say these guys have turned to bad players overnight. So what Victor Gyökeres did in the Sporting team, I was not expecting him to replicate it from the get-go, it's the same equivalent of numbers, but I don't think our coaching crew, our manager has been able to get the best out of Victor Gyökeres so far. I want to see more. Trying to maximize the potential of these guys and putting them in situations where they will thrive. Because one thing I would say with respect to the Brentford game is when we try to press in our usual shape, if you notice, Eze and Madueke are not very good pressers as Saka and Odegaard. And for me, I think the managers has brought in some players who would be able to replicate what some of his favorite players would do. And I think it should ask them to play to their strength instead of trying to make these guys do what his favorite players would do what his best men would do, because I think it would be a detriment to the talent and the skill set of a player like Eze when you ask him to do what Odegaard would do. Odegaard is a fantastic presser. Odegaard is a different mold of player. So that is not a very Eze. I want to see the manager coming up with a tactical plan to be able to get the best out of these players. And I'm expecting him to do it, because if he does not do it, that means we have failed this season and we don't want the team to fail. So hopefully the manager will come up with a plan and get the best out of these guys, because I believe that he can't do it. Let him go out there and do it.
Yeah, I totally, I completely hear what you're saying, because, like you said, he's built this squad, he's built this defensive unit, which he's been heralded as the best in Europe, with the clean sheet record, with David Raya getting another Golden Glove. He's already got as many clean sheets this season as he had the whole of last season. He's still got 12 league games to go, which is insane when you think about it. I just think we play, but we're much better attacking when we just play a bit quicker. When everything's slowed down, when we've got this U-shaped football, side to side, it's straightforward. It gives the opposition easier to drop into their low block and to move and shift around side to side. What we saw yesterday was vertical passes. We saw passes going straight through. I know we've got to take into account the opposition, and a lot of people are getting a bit too excited and saying, "Oh, Saka could do this here in the centre." You've got to take into account what you're playing against. But it was the fact that we played a lot of vertical passes. Eze was doing it. Norgard was doing it. Norgard played a magnificent ball to Jesus for his goal. So these guys can do it. I just think when we play quicker, a little bit quicker, it might turn it into a little bit more of a what do you call it? What's the word? Counter-attacking transitional game. But you've got the best defensive unit behind you, so you shouldn't have to worry about that too much if you lose possession.
Exactly.
If you're trying to play a ball in the final third, we're renowned for our work rate. So I don't understand why that would be a problem if you try and be on the front foot more. It should actually make you create more opportunities because you'll be able to win the ball back. The defense is on the back foot, and then you can put your, like you said, you can put your foot on the neck. So I think we just need to move the ball a little quicker, and we saw that yesterday. We saw what happened. Eze was finding Madueke and Martinelli as well. That's what Martinelli loves, right? He loves running onto the ball like that. Obviously, I know he kind of messed up a little bit on against Brentford, but I mean that was in a different situation. But when he's running through like that, you kind of know that he's gonna do the business. But again, as Akpos said, in terms of the squad, Bren, and moving forward, someone like Norgard coming in and doing a good job again, whenever he's been called upon. And obviously the fact that, you got Zubimendi, who's played so many games as well, looked a bit jaded a little bit over January, which is understandable because the guy, he's always had a winter break, right? This is the first time he's in his career he's not had a winter break and he's played through it. Is Norgard, should he trust him more now? I mean, for example, we've got Wolves, in a couple of days. Why don't you stick him in against Wolves and then and make sure Zubimendi's ready for the North London derby? Why don't you do that? But we know he's going to put Rice and Zubimendi back in there. Play Rice, of course, but for me, I will put Norgard in there. He didn't do anything wrong against Wigan. Hasn't done anything wrong when he's been called upon. What's your thoughts on that? And obviously looking ahead to obviously touching on what we did yesterday, and obviously taking into account, yes, it was a League One side. But were you just happy to see that risk taking and players coming in as having a couple of assists? What was your thoughts on just how we should approach that game on Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Norgard fan, and I liked watching Norgard over the years at Brentford, especially when they were live and there was a game, I think it was Everton away a few seasons ago, and I thought he was outstanding. And what I loved about him when he played with with Janssen, Janelt, even Damsgaard as well. I mean, funny enough, Brentford are 1-0 up now. Game's almost done against Macclesfield. But what I loved about Norgard, and I still do now, is that it's the work rate. It's the amount that he puts in. It's like when he plays that 6, it's like it's a clean-up job. You know what I mean? And he's always, like I said, he's very good on the ball, very good when it comes to, very good in challenges, and I find, and also what I love about him is that he's one of those players that when you go to away somewhere like Wolves, or you go away to Brighton, or you go away to an Everton, or say a Burnley, he's the type of person that's going to give you an 8 or 9 out of 10, in my opinion. He loves a scrap. And he's one of those players. He's played in the Championship, so he knows how to ramp. He does business. You know what I mean? And that's why I think you need a player like him, and it freshens it up. I think he can come in and do a job for us. I'm not saying playing week in, week out. That's not going to happen. But I think against Wolves this Wednesday, for me, he's a must start. He's a must start, and I feel I would start him with Declan Rice. I mean, Zubimendi came on, didn't he? He came on yesterday. I'd rest Zubimendi for the Spurs game.
Yeah.
So I'll play Norgard and Rice. I think the two of them would combine well, and also Norgard would be up for the fight, because if we're going to be up against side desperately trying to pick up points, fighting relegation. They're in whether they're so for me, Norgard, I'd start him on Wednesday, because I think like I said already, just freshen it up, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I think Steve said in the chat. He said, obviously Brentford were fresher than us. Obviously, that's what we've got to take into account. A lot of these teams, obviously, Wolves played at the weekend, didn't they? They played in the cup, obviously, like we did. What's your thoughts on that as well, Akpos, in terms of the way we approach Wolves? Does he, obviously, with what we've got coming at the weekend, does he go with the full strength, obviously, attack, or do you think you see a couple of rotations maybe in there again with the likes of maybe like Norgard staying in? I'll imagine Timber will come back in instead of White. Obviously, there's a bit of concerns about him, but he said he looks like he's okay. Because then you've got to take into account the injuries we're picking up in the warm-ups now. We're not only picking up injuries at training and matches, we're getting injuries in warm-ups. What's your thoughts about how we approach that Wolves game, Akpos?
With respect to all the injuries, I hope Mikel Arteta, and I trust Mikel Arteta and the medical crew are working around the clock to make sure we have, all our players back as soon as possible. Because I was also concerned we had no Martin Odegaard on the bench against Wigan the other day in the FA Cup. I hope he will be back and being in contention for the Wolves game. Because I think we really need our squad, because we are in the heat of the moment now where we have a lot of games coming in, week out. We are in multiple competitions, still very active in 4 competitions. So I think Mikel Arteta really needs to use the squad. And I think this is the moment where players like Norgard needs to get minutes. And I love the fact that we saw Gabriel Jesus getting into the action against Wigan and also scoring. And Miles Lewis-Kelly also had another opportunity, because I think this is a very critical moment where we need to keep all our players sharp. And the game against Brentford, I was surprised that we had Martin Zubimendi and Declan Rice on the pitch for a very long period of time when he was not working in that midfield. Dynamic was struggling, and in my opinion, I was expecting the manager to try to shake things up a little bit, and maybe if we had thrown Norgard into the fight, we could have seen a different result. Maybe could have come in and could have been a difference maker for us. So I think I would expect the manager and his backroom staff to try to maximize this squad, because some of these injuries we are seeing happening in warm-up, I think that might also be, some of these players sending us some messages, their load, the amount of load that they've been under in the last couple of weeks, in the last couple of years. I think it's also having a certain player. So I think we really need to manage the squad properly if we want to compete on all fronts. We are also in the finals of the League Cup. So I think this game against Wolves is a game where I think we have some room to rotate a little bit. The game against Spurs in the weekend, I think that's a more tougher position, but it's also a tricky one against Wolves, because we cannot afford to do it too much and then fail to win the game. So the manager needs to go out with a very strong squad, but areas where there are room for us to rotate, I would also love to see him rotate, because especially coupled with the fact kind of performance that we saw from Christian Norgard, I think if he starts this game against us, a lot of us will be satisfied with that decision. And he gave a good account of himself. Martin Zubimendi, on the other hand, since the mistake against Manchester United, has been contributing prior to the game against Brentford, where the entire team had a poor performance. So I would not want to pick him out there. So, but after the mistake against Manchester United, Martin Zubimendi has stepped up and he has been contributing his own fair share of goals. I think, I'm even surprised with the amount of goals that Martin Zubimendi has contributed to our campaign so far. It's a credit to Martin Zubimendi, and I hope to see if Norgard starts against Wolves, I think that would be a fantastic decision to also give Martin Zubimendi a breather. But knowing Mikel, not too sure that would happen, but I think we should also play that game, keeping in mind what will happen over the weekend. But we should also make sure that we put out a squad that is strong enough to get the job done on the day. That's my thoughts.
100%. I'm pretty much on the thinking that if we don't wake up Thursday morning and we're not 7 points clear, then we can forget it. We have to win the game, and a draw is just then it's in City's hands, because obviously then It's 5 points. They win the game in hand. I think they got Leeds at the weekend. I'm not sure. I think they got Leeds. But if they win that game and then they're 2 points behind, and then we play them at the Etihad, so it's then and they're at home. So for me, if we don't win on Wednesday, that's it for me. It's. I know it's a long. It will be 11 games to go, but
I think they've got Newcastle.
I
think it's Newcastle.
Oh, is it? Okay, so
I think City got Newcastle.
Okay,
yes.
So we have to. We have to win on Wednesday. We have to make sure we put 7 points on the board, even if they've got the game in hand, knowing what they've got to play, obviously as well. And obviously we know what we've got to come on the weekend. But again, I think it's a case of we need to attack these games more rather than try and control it and then try and have these small margin games against teams that we are levels above, but we're creating these situations where we're in these close, tight. Don't make a mistake. Don't give. We give away a silly goal, or Gabriel passing the ball out for a corner against Brentford. After 5, under no pressure. Doing stuff like that. Why are you facing that way? Just turn around and just like put it up there and let them deal with it. Just put them under a little bit of pressure. We're putting ourselves under pressure by just doing a little bit of silly things at the back and making mistakes. So for me, we have to win this title. We're not going to try and eke our way and control ourselves, to get over the line, because we're playing against teams that are fighting for points. And even though people say Wolves are gone, this is a big game for them. It's on, obviously it's on TV and everything. It's a big game for them. We managed to squeak past them with 2 own goals. We haven't even scored against them, this season. None of our players have as well. So we need to kick on with what we did against Wigan, with the sort of good bounce that we've got from the attackers, having good contributions. I just think we need to, put in a performance that we get the 3 points, and then at least we can say, okay, we've done our job. We know what the North London derby is all about. And then just take it from there. But let's go into the chat. Some comments. I think Steve's been in the comments tonight. He's just talking about the leagues around Europe, where it is very, very tight, and it's only in Germany only about 6 or 7 clear. Yeah, it is an interesting season, especially even Scotland as well. Scotland is kind of crazy. It might be going to down last day business. Steve, again, we also have to be cautious about burnout, which is why Arteta wants the control of the game. 3 seasons ago, we burnt out a little towards the end because we didn't control games. Yeah, that's true. James Johnson, who's been on the show a few times, saying evening lads, he just finished his own show and didn't want to clash with the legend. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And Steve's saying as well. Like I said, play our game and set our tempo. It's how top teams operate. Not try not to play as players. Obviously, fall into the traps. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. It's like where it just seems to be having these high risk games, and slim margins against teams that, and yes, they've got a low block. Just move the ball a bit quicker. Just not let these teams just and then try and play for a corner or a set piece. And that seems to be the way we're still continuing to breaking teams down, which isn't, it's not always going to be the way
it
out.
Should be.
Absolutely. And Neil's in the chat. Yeah, how you doing, Neil? He says he's asking. Hope everyone is well. And of course, they've got Newcastle in the cup as well, and which is good for us. Let's talk about Noni Madueke, because I know he's an interesting talking point, because he's come obviously into the team the last couple of weeks, obviously with Saka being out. What's your thoughts on him, Brenny? Do you think it's a purple patch he's hit at the moment? Do you think his addition to the team just gets teams on the back foot a little bit with his ability to actually beat people 1-to-1 and create space? And he's obviously rapid as well. Do you think he should stick in the team? And do you think maybe Saka should be used more in that sort of number 10 role? I think it might be quite interesting to see what he could do alongside someone like Declan Rice on the other side. But What's your thoughts on Madueke? And do you think it is a purple patch, or do you think he's slowly becoming like a wild card, a really good wild card for us to use against the opposition to put them on the back foot, which is something we need really?
Best thing he's doing at the moment is it's when he just pops up with goals, because I find that with him, he just reminds me of Adama Traore. And what I think what he does brilliantly when he goes around the left back, I think he does it so well, right? But I just think sometimes I think he should not just go around the left back's left side. He should also go around the right as well, and just don't be predictable. He is quick, but what he did against Bruges a few months ago, we know he's capable of it. But he must have we didn't see him for about 2 or 3 games or so. It's punishment for it was punishment for scoring that wonder goal against Bruges. You know what I mean? Punishment, man. That's like, you know what I mean? That's like Semien coming to America getting punished by King Joffrey for you know what I mean? He got punished and he was gonna get bathed by the rose bearers. I mean, that's punishment, isn't it? You know what I mean? But he kind of liked that punishment, so it's kind of like that. So no, I find with him, he needs to up his GA, and I think he will. He's still young. He's gonna get better. And I feel, but he has to take his chances, because him, like Eze, they need to take their chances with good performances. Not just assisting goals, but with really good performances. But then again, saying that good performances may not even be enough with Arteta, because of what he'll find that Odegaard and Saka do give him that more when it comes to a defensive, being a defensive unit. But I love what Madueke can do offensively. He has hit a purple patch in terms of goals. I hope that continues against Wolves if he starts. Mm-hmm. But I think we need to see. He did it against Leeds, but we need to see a lot more deliveries from him. Not just goals, but a lot more. The end product, it's going to be there, but he just needs to do it week in, week out. And as for Bukayo Saka in the number 10, I loved it. I love seeing him in 10. You can see that. We can see from months ago he's lost that little bit of pace. But I see him, if he bulks up a bit, I think I see him being a future number 10. And I thought for those 45 minutes, I know it's Wigan, but I kind of liked him in that role yesterday. I do see a future for him, but then I know fans were thinking at first, oh no, ages ago, like, no, that's not possible, because I know some of us have spoken about it in our WhatsApp chats, and I was thinking, he could do a role, he could do something, I'm sure. And there's no harm. There's no harm in trying something, and I'm glad that the manager did that yesterday. You can experiment against a team like Wigan. Who knows? We've got Mansfield away in the cup. He could probably. I reckon I would be happy if he played Saka in that 10. Yeah. Against Mansfield. Yeah. Give him 60, 70 minutes. Can be done. I don't think it will happen, but I would love to see it happen. But no, big up Saka. I see him being a future number 10. Kind of like John Barnes when he had that ligament damage, didn't he, in the 90s? And he couldn't be a wing. He couldn't be a winger no more. And,
he changed his position, didn't he? Yeah, and he became more
being a centre midfielder.
Second midfielder.
So who knows?
Yeah, but, I see that. I think if he can get himself fit, he can get himself a little bit sharper. Yeah, he's definitely an option there. And I think at the same time he keeps obviously that kind of threat of Noni on the side as well. But he also has, he has his 2 key set piece takers in the team as well, with Rice and Saka as well, and Noni. Noni's obviously we've seen that he scored from a set piece against Leeds, isn't it? He's corner from against Leeds. What's your thoughts on him, Akpos? You know, you're happy to see him getting a good run in the team, a good getting goals. Obviously, people were calling him 00, not even 007. They were calling him 0013 because obviously he went, was it 13 games, obviously without sort of getting anything on the board. But what's your thoughts on his turn of form at the moment? And you keep him in the side, even with Saka sort of, back in the mix.
Well, for me, I would start with I would start with saying I'm very happy with how Noni is adding, the end product to his game, because from the get-go, when I first saw him playing at PSV, I was like, I like this player. I like this player because he's a very direct player. He's a player that plays with flair. For me, I don't know. I started, when I started watching football, I saw a lot of exciting Nigerian wingers, players who had pace, players who, when they have the ball, they want to go direct. They want to, go 1v1 with their opposition defender or player, and that's something Noni has got in his game. And the difference in the players like Noni and Saka, for me, Saka's got the end product. Saka's got the ability, but he has got the end product. And when we signed him, I had to, try to see the bigger picture of why we have gone to, go out there and get a player. And for me, because I've been very concerned with this, his outputs with assist numbers, his goal scoring. So I think him getting on the goals now, back-to-back games goals. The other day he scored from a corner kick situation, was pinging in very good delivery. I was surprised. I was like, yes, this is what I want to see. I think this is a player who is adding areas that we could not see while he was at Chelsea to his game now, and I pray that long may it continue. And would I keep Noni on the side? Yes, I would keep him, because I think players like Noni, they are confidence players. He's playing like a player now that's high on confidence. So why would we want to put him back on the bench? And, the 11 that I saw the other day that was forced with the injury to Ricardo Calafiori, I loved what Mikel did there, because that is very, very kind of something we could see with Arsene Wenger, because I think, I've been discussing this conversation with a couple of my friends who were not even Arsenal fans, and they were saying Mikel Arteta needs to find ways, and we all agree that Mikel Arteta needs to find ways to have a lot of his attacking talent on the pitch at the same time, and just maybe playing Saka in the number 10 in some games could be what would unlock some of these other players. And we saw how very direct, how very straightforward our attack was. Once it gets to Saka, gets to Eze, we are playing the forward ball. It was not sideways or backward passing. Just maybe, having Saka in the number 10 in some games and Madueke on the right in some games might be something that would, be the key to unlock some teams that even want to play in the low block. Because in my head, I'm like, why don't we go, full attack mode sometimes when it's 1-1, when it's 0-0. The game against Brentford, I was also thinking maybe we could have taken out Declan Rice or Martins Zubimendi, because I thought at some point in that game we had no point leaving two very, both of them on the pitch, two very defensive-minded midfielders, in my opinion, on the pitch. So I think sometimes Mikel Arteta needs to, go full attack mode and just maybe playing Saka in the midfield and finding other ways. We also want to see, him trying to, try other things, because you mentioned the next round of the FA Cup. Maybe that could be an opportunity to try something new, because we know the Premier League, the Champions League, there are no rooms to try anything new. You have to out there get the result. So
exactly.
These cup competitions could just be an avenue for us to go out there and try a thing or two new. But with respect to how Madueke is playing now, I don't think he needs to be benched, because we saw what happened with Eze when he was high on the confidence. Odegaard came back and he was back on the bench, and afterwards, when we needed him to come in and contribute his own quarter, we saw a player lacking in confidence. In my opinion, I think just maybe even if what's his name, Arteta needs to take Madueke to the right, to the left, or Saka to the left, whichever way. I think Madueke needs to start the next game against Wolves, in my opinion.
I totally agree with that. And looking at just one we have a look at the cup draw, a bit clearer, obviously, after it was made earlier this evening. And It's kind of playing out quite nicely. Obviously, if we handle our business against Mansfield, obviously Newcastle United or City will fall at the wayside. But then if you look at the other teams, obviously, it's looking quite open in terms of who we could end up facing if in the quarterfinals. Obviously you've got Fulham against Southampton. You fancy us against any of the teams at the moment. You probably only one you would probably wouldn't want to face would be Liverpool, because they seem to sort of turn the corner a little bit. And I just think with the way that we've approached those games, as we've sort of discussed earlier, the way we've approached those games in the league, but maybe because as Steve has said here, we use attack mode in the cups because there's no second chances. Maybe we go we go at Liverpool slightly differently in a cup competition, maybe because it's that aspect. I don't know. Maybe I can see Arteta playing for a draw, maybe going for penalties, maybe, and see if he can get through that way rather than
hopefully not.
But what's your thoughts on that draw, Akpos? Are you obviously happy with it? It's a good test, isn't it, for the squad again? If he rotates the squad again, it's not going to be an easy game. Mansfield are obviously going to be getting all the paint out and everything, and cleaning all the seats and everything, making sure it's spick and span. For all the TV cameras coming down, it's going to be their day in the sun, and getting obviously good TV money. And obviously with what they did in the last couple of rounds as well. I know they beat Burnley, but it's not going to be, if we go there with our business head on, we should handle business. But it's a good test again for the rotation, isn't it? And when you look at the fixtures that we've got sandwiched, in March, obviously leading up to that cup final. But what's your thoughts on the draw and how it's kind of playing out?
Well, I'm very happy with the draw because I wanted us to get, one of the not so big, very big teams. Credit to Mansfield with how they're having a fantastic run so far. I was very surprised that, they edged the ball out of the last round. And I'm hoping that we will be their last post stop during this season's campaign of the FA Cup. And just like you rightly said, I think this is also another room for players who would not be getting a lot of minutes in the league and in the Champions League to also stay sharp, have that match fitness under their belt, because we don't know when we are going to need these players. We saw how at one point our defense, that we have a lot of room to rotate, that we had no defender, we had to play Christian Nogard in the centre back position at one point in this season. So I think an opportunity for us to really use our squad. It's an opportunity for us to, keep these players the sharpness that they need, and also be ready for when we will call upon them in the league games and in the UEFA Champions League games. So I think I would love us to approach that game with must-win mentality too, the same approach that we use when we are playing in the league and the UEFA Champions League. But with respect to the draw, I'm very happy that we are getting a Mansfield. With all due respect to them and credit to them with their fantastic run. But I think that run comes to an end against Arsenal in the next round.
Yes. Interesting that all the bigger teams, obviously City, ourselves, Liverpool and Chelsea, have all been drawn away. So that's a little quirk as well. How are you feeling about that draw? Brenny, have you got your cup final suit measured already? Have you got it at the dry cleaners? I know it's been 6 years since we've been there, but how are you feeling about it, Bren?
Suit. I'll tell you what, man, probably come with an afro as well, you know what I'm saying? Top of the shoes and that, because we ain't been there for so long, I mean, I ain't got no hair on my head, you know what I mean? So, oh, man. It's, you know what? I think also it's because we've been, we've done really well in all competitions this season. And that's all I've ever wanted to see, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I find that even though the draws were always kind to us in the cup, like Liverpool Cup seasons ago, and then we had United last season. We should have beaten United. I just felt that Arteta didn't take those cups seriously. He's always taken the Champions League seriously, but I think he realizes this season it's a pressure season in terms of in terms of the board, what they want, how much we've spent, and I feel he's doing what we want. The team's doing what we want. We're involved in all 4 competitions. We're not going to win all 4 of them. Realistically, we're not going to.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where we want to be, and this is what. And over the years, this is where how I always associate myself. I don't look at Arsenal as overachieving, or if Arteta's an elite manager, and they've been, we've been told this from seasons ago, then what's the overachieving word shouldn't come into it as far as I'm concerned. The draw is kind. Mansfield, it's like Akpos said as well. This will probably be the only time this season from now where we can experiment.
Yeah,
we can only experiment. We can only experiment one more time this season, because it's the business end of the season. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I never thought we'd. And to be honest, look, I watched. I don't know if you two did, but I watched a draw live, and I said to myself, I bet you we're gonna be at Anfield or something like that. Probably be at Anfield, where But then I thought, luck of the draw, and I think we'll beat Mansfield, but we have to beat them and not be complacent.
Yes,
and you know what I mean.
100%. Yeah, I think. I think if we go out the same way as we did yesterday, with that same sort of attitude. I know it's away from home. It's probably a little bit like the Portsmouth game as well, where obviously they scored early, didn't they? And then we had to come back. But you kind of weather that first 20 minutes, all the adrenaline and everything's going for them, and then you kind of show your quality, and then you just have to be ruthless. And you both are right. When you look at the fixtures for March, obviously the Champions League fixtures aren't in there either, because obviously the draw is going to be made, isn't it? For the last 16 is going to be amongst that as well. So this is going to be, like you said, the last chance for us to experiment, but also for us to properly rotate and give people breathers. Because obviously, if you look at the schedule, it's crazy. It's a game every 3 days, I think, if you look at it as it's coming up, right up until the cup final. When after that, I think it's in international break. So it's
that's a relief.
Kind of crazy. Obviously, you've got the break between the 22nd and the 1st from the derby to the. But after that, it's usually, you can see there, the 1st of March, the 4th of March, the 7th of March. And then you've got a week before the Everton game, and then obviously you've got the break before the cup final. So it is all about rotation and making sure that people are as fresh as they can, because for me it all starts from the run in the last 10 games of the league. So they're the championship round. When you're boxing, you talk about the championship rounds when it used to go deep to round 15 and all that stuff. This is once we hit the Chelsea game. Obviously, we need to handle business before then with Wolves and against Spurs, and then we go to the last thing. We need to make sure whoever's out injured, I think they're talking about Kai might be back for around that time. We need him back. We need all the other boys to come back and make sure we've got the squad as fit as we can be. But so before we go, let's just go into the comments. Neil saying Madueke is most exciting forward we've had. The season is now scoring. He needs to start more games. And obviously, Steve saying he's exciting and equally, but he's frustrating, but he's good. Saka changing the central role will not only give Madueke more chances, but also the best player in the world, Doberman. So that's Dowman, obviously Max Dowman, who's back training, and obviously that could be a game. I think if he's fit, could see Max Dowman playing in that cup game. And Jack, who's a guy that hosts a podcast called Purely Arsenal, he said he's been championing a change for Saka to play centre midfield for I think last season or the season before. He was saying that's probably where he should end up. The end product will come from Madueke. Yeah, if he does what he's doing at the moment, scoring every other game, then we'll take that, wouldn't we? We'll absolutely take that in whatever competition. His confidence is rising as well. And Steve's a bit wary, saying away in a cup is always tricky. He's not having his chickens yet. He's he's not getting his suit ready for Wembley. He's going to take it easy a little bit. But so gents, you at the moment you're happy with the state of the Arsenal Akpos Obviously, where we are at the moment, it's been an interesting season, hasn't it? You know, the football hasn't been edge of your seat stuff. It's been pretty much efficient on most points. Maybe obviously more in the Champions League. It's been a little bit more, on the edge of your seat stuff. Let's say. But how are you feeling with as we enter the proper running of the season? How are you feeling at the moment, man?
Well, firstly, I would say I'm happy with where we're at the moment. Could we have been in a better position? Yes, but could we have also been in a worse situation? Yes, also. So I want to say I'm thankful, firstly, that with the fact that we are still in contender in 4 competitions: the League Cup in the finals, the Champions League. We're still in the league. We are still sitting at the top of the summit. The points have reduced to what it has been the week before now, but I think we are in a good position, and I'm happy that if we can win most of our games and not lose to City, we finish the league as winners come May. So I think we are in a very good position, and I just want us to get the job done, get our job done, and not focus too much on what's going to happen. And when City are playing the game, I think our main focus should be looking at the team that is in front of us, which in this situation should be Wolverhampton Wanderers in the next game. And I want us to go all out there. Like I said, how I expected us to play against Brentford. I expected to see an Arsenal team that wanted to go on the pitch and win, go on the pitch and win. I think that should be our mantra. That should be our team song in every game we have to play from now until the end of the season. I don't care who the opposition is going to be, but I want us to believe that we can win any team we are going to face, and let's go out there and play like that. It's one thing to have the belief, it's another thing to go onto the pitch and not play to that belief. I want to see us playing with intent, attacking teams. Yes, we can respect teams. I'm not saying throw caution to the wind, but I'm saying we should not give teams too much respect. We need to go out there. The defense will win you, we win you titles, as they say, but goals will win you games. In games when you don't score, you can't win them. So I want to see us going in the games and having the right balance between defense and offense. We already have a fantastic defense, a fantastic unit. We have players who are dedicated with doing, the defensive duty. I also want to see us, giving room more for flair, for more freedom to attack space.
We want this,
Exactly. A little bit of that unpredictability. And we talked about control. We talked about how Mikel Arteta wants the team to play. And I've been saying it, this is not just a Mikel Arteta problem. This is a problem that we can attribute to a lot of more modern day managers, where they want more control. They want to control things a lot more. We saw what happened at Manchester United with certain players under Ruben Amorim. And we are seeing how certain players that did not play under him are thriving now under a new manager that's giving them freedom to thrive. I want to see Mikel Arteta find the right balance, because I think if he can find the right balance between his control, how he wants his team to play, and having certain players have freedom, when they are playing for him, I think he can go out there and become a very, very, very great manager. I think he needs to find the balance. Control is good, but we should not kill the unpredictability of the sport. We should not kill the unpredictability of certain flair players. I think that has also taken a little bit of the excitement of the sport away from it in the last couple of years. I want to see us having, enjoying games where players are scoring goals. We are asking ourselves, how did that happen? This will not happen with, that much control that certain managers want to have. I'm just hoping that Mikel Arteta would see reason and try to tweak it a little bit.
Spot on. And basically, I think what Akpos is trying to say as well, he probably added to that, Brenny, is for Arsenal to play like champions elect. Like, let's do that in these next couple of games. We've not done that. We've kind of done it in spells in certain games. Obviously, against Leeds, you probably could say we did in the second half, where we sort of took them apart. But we need to do that more. And if you look at the games that we've got left, I think once we hit that running game, I think we've got 6 of the final 4 are at home. A lot of them are London derbies, which is annoying. But We have to kind of make this count, really, and the games that we've got against the teams at home. Obviously the only one that sticks out, obviously, is the City game. But it's time that we kind of went out and won it now, rather than still be worried about not losing it.
Yeah, exactly. And also we need to be like, we need to be like past title winning sides, our title winning sides of the past, where it was two. I can remember 2 from Graham, 3 from Wenger, and what those 2 managers wanted to do. Even though George Graham wasn't always defensive minded, and people forget. If people remember the era, people forget that George Graham played attacking football for 6 seasons, and then I've said this time and time again, when Rocastle went to Leeds, and then he didn't bring anyone, of creative swat. He just brought in more defensive midfielders, and we weren't, But then we've got to. Wenger went to Old Trafford in '98, and we should have. I mean, we didn't destroy Man United, but he played there. We played that game to win.
Yeah,
and we got a 1-0 win. And Alex Meninga was man of match for me that day. 2002, we could have just gone and drawn at Old Trafford. He didn't want to draw. He wanted to win. There was, what I find, there was a bit of arrogance and swag with Graham and Wenger back in the days, but they wanted to go and beat their rivals. They wanted to beat their rivals at their own backyard, and they did that. They did that. And I know when we was invincible, United, we drew twice with them, but they still finished third in the league. And then we did the double over Chelsea, who are close challengers. So what I'm trying to say, in essence, is that we need to go to City and show them who's boss.
Yeah.
Show them we're ready.
Yeah.
Show them we're ready.
Yeah.
We're not going to go and draw. Show them we're ready. We're going to go give them a good beating, a good hiding, a good 2-0, because we're strong at the back.
Yeah.
And plus they're not going to low block us. So we need to do that. Liverpool did it last season, and credit to them. They went to City. They could see City's frailties. They could see there were problems there. And what do? They went to City, and they did the double over them last season. So we need to do the same. And what Akpos was saying, and what you've already said, Michael, in terms of if we're just if we're quick in our attacking play, that's all we've got to do, because if we do that, the opposition will probably be, wow, didn't expect that.
Yeah, I just think
that's what the manager needs to do: change it up and be unpredictable.
Yeah, I think that kind of what's happened yesterday with Calafiori coming out and Saka going in. Yes, again, we've got to take into account, yes, it's Wigan, but I think that the way that the fluidity we showed in that first half and the way we put them to the sword, it should give him some food for thought, and hopefully give him some food for thought. And I would say, especially at home, going forward, and against the teams that we've got to play at home in the league, especially, I don't see why you have to play a defensive-minded Timber. For example, I would play Ben White because he's able to unlock, with his overlapping run stuff. You don't necessarily need to have Timber, locking anybody down because you're not playing against a winger that could really destroy us, really, like a Doku, maybe, let's say, when you go to Etihad, obviously, yes, you would play Timber there. But I think at home, and then what does that do for Timber if you don't play him? You give him a chance to recuperate for the Champions League games that may be around the corner and things like that. So 100%. I think he needs to definitely be more on the front foot, and hopefully what he saw yesterday will make him, free the shackles a little bit, like what Akpos is saying. Just let people play a little bit more freedom, almost like a new manager. Not saying like a new manager, but just having a new sort of mindset now, knowing that these guys can do it. You've got this defense, you've got the best defense in Europe. Trust that defense. Trust that ball winning ability of Declan Rice and Zubimendi, and let the other guys do some damage up front,
Yeah.
and then before we know it, we may have a nice lead to take into the Etihad, and we might not even need to win the game, you know. And then if they have to, imagine the City side that have to come out and win the game. What's that going to do for us on the transition? So there's lots of different permutations there, man. So hopefully we'll be talking about that when that match comes round. But obviously we've got the cup final to talk about, so that's going to be interesting how that plays out. But thank you so much, gents. Obviously we've gone over time a little bit, but no, thank you so much for your time. Akpos, great debut for you, my friend. We really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
Wicked, man. Wicked.
Let everyone know where they can find you, man.
Well, you can always find me on Steve the Awesome Gunners channel, and also you can find me on the Football Talk Shop. And if you're from Nigeria or from West Africa and you speak Pidgin, I have a dedicated Pidgin English channel where I've been doing lots of football content over the years, and hopefully we are going to be able to take it to the next level in the next couple of months. But thanks for having me, and also you can also catch me on Brenny's channel, Brenny K, every now and then. I also jump on Brenny's channel. But thanks for having me. It's been a fantastic fantastic discussion with Michael, Brenny, Steven, and everyone on the chat. I think it's been a show where we come, we give our 1% and also learn from other panels and everybody in the chat. So thanks for having me, Michael. I'm honored to be on the channel today.
No, pleasure, man. Pleasure having you. Definitely have you back on again soon. We'll get the contract drawn up for you. I don't know what we're talking about. It won't be Bukayo Saka money, but we'll talk up. We'll write up something. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, and also Brenny. Great having you again, my friend. And just let everyone
always, man. Always. No, love, man. Love, and it's always great coming on here. Thanks for having me on. And you're talking contracts. It can't be a Thomas Frank contract because you have to pay Akpos a lot of money, man. But no, man. But yeah, thanks for sorry. I had to get that in there. Oh dear. He'll just spend it all on gum anyway, Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Can I have a Wrigley Spearmint, please? Oh, we're sold out. Sorry. Okay. No, man.
Oh dear.
But no, thank you, man. Yeah, Brenny K74, man. Channel. Been picking up subscribers slowly but surely. But you know what? I'm being patient. My shorts, I've been doing all right with the shorts recently. There's been a couple of shorts in the last month, so I've been getting over 2,000 views. That actually surprised the hell out of me, and I really appreciate that from those who check my shorts. And obviously, I'll let if you all are free, I'm trying to do something before the North London derby. So try and get you all on. Maybe a Sunday. I want to get Steve on as well. Steve hasn't made. Steve-o, man, if you're watching this, man, if you're awake or whatever, you need to come and make your debut on my channel, man. You know what I mean? You have to. And also, got to get Steve on as well one day. That's Steve. Both Steves. Aussie Duna, Steve Stepney. You know what I mean? Everyone's welcome. Anyone's welcome on my channel.
Yeah. Just the time
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Not for Stephen Stepney though, but
no, Stepney, he's all right. He's all right. He's saying he's ready for his debut as well.
Yeah, man, of course, man, of course.
So got Neil,
you know what I mean?
Neil's a top guy as well. He's always
you can find me on. And also, sorry, you can find me on the Football Takeover sometime.
Yeah.
Bobby should be back this weekend. Bless him.
Good.
So he's on the mend. This is great news. So look forward to my my pod brother again. You know, I mean, we are the Saint and Greavesy. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm Greavesy because I've got more jokes than he has. So he's definitely Ian St. John.
Yeah.
So
you kill me, Greavesy, innit? You used to say.
Yeah, man. So and Instagram threads as well. You can find me on there, and please like, share, subscribe to Arsenal Bubble. Like, share, subscribe to my guy Akpos as well, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, gents. Really been a brilliant chat. Thank you so much. At least we got to talk about a good result and a good result in the draw for the cup as well. And obviously, hopefully, we'll be meeting up in future for future show with some more good results. Because this is we're approaching the business end of the season, so every game has got so much on it now. But no, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for spending it with me. Thank you everybody for spending their time with us tonight, watching the show. And if you're watching it back, please leave a like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment. Give us a question. We'll talk about it in the next show. But thank you so much. Have a brilliant rest of the week.
Big up, man. Great
and
stream.
Keep it Arsenal. All right, keep it Arsenal. Come on, you Reds.
Come on, you Gunners. Big up, big up.